As somebody who's been with many broke guys before, I feel like this is a topic I can actually speak on without being biased. Men get on social media and often complain about women not sticking by their side if they do not have money, women only using them for money, women only this and that. But do men realize what they're like when they do not have money? And this is a serious, genuine question because we've all been in a point in our life where we don't have money and it's not easy. And I'm not trying to bash anybody at all. But what I'm saying is when I've dated men who do not have money, they are the most miserable, unfulfilled, unsatisfied men to be around. And I get it. Like, not having money is stressful. But when men don't have money, they don't know what, who, or how to act for you in a relationship. Men associate their worth to money in relationships. So when they don't have that, they are not pleasant partners to be around.
Yeah.
They don't ever plan dates on a budget. They're miserable all the time. And they're constantly thinking about how to make 10K in 1 week. I personally feel like this is a perspective worth talking about because we always talk about it from a materialistic standpoint. Whilst there are women who hold down men in relationships, but I don't think many men realize how they come across when they don't have money.
Do men realize what they are like if they don't have money? That is what we're talking about in today's video. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Naya David, and I am back again with another interesting video. Do men realize what they are like when they don't have money? But I want to ask you guys something. Do you know that men that do not have money, or broke men, they are more entitled to your life than the rich one? The rich one are very soft. Most rich one, not all though, because there's some rich one that they want to, tell you to do everything. Like, they just want to police your life all through. Those ones they are not okay. I'm talking about good men right here. Men that have money and they want to take care of you, do everything, and treat you well. When you compare them to a broke man, a broke guy would want you to do everything for them. They will expect you to do everything for them. Why they do nothing? Why they do little? They are the only one that comes and tell you 50-50. They are the only ones that come and tell you this, that. And they will still go ahead and cheat on you without even paying your bills. Those are the broke men. They always feel so entitled to you. Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section. Let's go ahead and watch interesting stitches from this video. Then at the end of all the stitches, I'll share my own opinion.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money? And this is...
I'm so glad someone finally said something about this, because I don't think men realize that a lot of women don't date broke men, not because they're gold diggers or they just want money, but because, like she said, men who don't have money are miserable. Like, a lot of them are miserable. Their entire self-worth is completely wrapped up in how much money they have, and a lot of them don't even want to do a relationship if they can't provide for you. So if they can't provide for you, they kind of hate being around you. Like she said, they don't want to plan dates. They be mean. They be fucking mean. And like, your presence, especially if you're really good to them, low-key be a reminder that they're broke. Well, low-key be a reminder that they can't do for you. Yeah. And that's why a lot of women are like, yo, I don't want to be in a relationship where a man is abusing me because his money is not where he wants it to be. So I'm going to just date rich men. I'm going to just date men that are more established. And then men come thinking, oh, y'all are gold diggers. We're not gold diggers. We just don't want to be mistreated by men who are unhappy with themselves because they don't have money. That is that on that. Because that should be shitty. He don't want to go out nowhere. He don't even want to do free dates. He don't even want to go sit in the park with you because he's like, I'm broke. They'd be so upset.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
I don't know about other guys, but I am simply insufferable when I'm broke. When I'm broke, I wake up thinking about money. I go through my day thinking about money. I go to sleep thinking about money. There's no such thing as fun. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to smile. I don't want to laugh. I don't want to cuddle. I don't want to have sex. I just want to lift weights, diet perfectly, because I don't feel like I deserve anything other than the bare minimum. Sleep and stay out of the way until I get my money up. And the singular phrase that keeps me going on a day-to-day when I'm broke, I just keep thinking, this too shall pass. Because one thing about me, I always got some money on the way. It may just not be here yet. You know what I'm saying?
Men associate their worth to money in relationships. So when they don't have that,
You're really miserable. That's basically her point. And she's right. Now, granted, a part of me wants to tell you that you should be looking for a man that knows how to treat a woman regardless of how much money he has.
Yeah.
That his character should be fulfilled, and his character should be focused, and his character should be masculine with or without money. However, we are dealing with reality. And the reality is, most of the time, you are not going to find the unicorn one right after the other. Now, if you're the type of woman who likes to be single or who doesn't mind being single for long periods of time while you find that unicorn, feel free to do that. I'm genuinely not judging you at all. However, if you are one who likes to be in relationships, if you're one who doesn't mind dating men if they meet certain standards, even if they're not the unicorn, then going by whether or not he has money and whether or not he's a provider is a very good metric to go by. Why? Because the reality is most men are terrible daters because of their socialization. And their socialization is that when they're dealing with women, they should have money and they should be balling out. But when they can't do that, they just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
Babe, do men realize what they're like when they do not have money? Men complain about that women don't want to date them when they don't have money. But as this woman said, go back and watch her video, when a man is unfulfilled, he is miserable to be around. And that's normal. That's the male condition. That's why often when you're dating a guy, before he's decided who he is in this life, and that's not necessarily about the quantity of money he makes, but just his direction, they are the most miserable people to be around. Their whole mission and focus, as it should be, as she says, is making that 10K a month or a week or whatever it is. I just think as much as men like to complain about that fact, men really come into their own when they find themselves, and then they're way more ready for a relationship. Trying to have it with that man who's not there is so hard.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
Okay, no, but can we talk about this one, y'all? Because, fellas, this is one huge way that the patriarchy bites y'all in the ass. When I was in my early 20s, I genuinely believed that I would be able to fight against the patriarchy. And I thought that I would do so by dating guys for who they were and not caring about how much money they had. Because I understood that a man was so much more than how much money he makes and should be treated and valued as such. And I believed all of that until I actually started dating guys for who they were and not factoring in money, and then realized just how ingrained the patriarchy really is with y'all. Because the patriarchy teaches males from a very young age, might I add, that a lot of their personal value is rooted in how much money they have. And to not have a lot of money means that you are essentially less of a man. So when you're trying to love a man who is currently viewing himself as less than, buckle up. Because a man who is struggling to love and value himself is going to reject all of your attempts to love and value him. Sadly, when it comes to males, money has to matter to a certain extent.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
I was broke for all of my 20s. And towards the end of my 20s, I was in a relationship with a woman who was much more successful, especially financially successful than I was. And you would struggle to find a more insecure person than I was in that relationship. And she didn't care. She never made an issue out of it. I had the issue. I was also an alcoholic and a drug addict. But it just goes to show, if you don't like you, how's anybody else gonna like you? I like you.
I don't think many men realize how they come across when they don't have money.
Okay, I have thoughts on this. Money, dating, self-worth. If conversations about money trigger you, please swipe away. I want to preface this by saying that you have inherent value as a person, regardless of how much money you have. But it is our perception of self and our relationship with money that can affect what we think we deserve and the way that we connect to others. And I have thoughts on like broke mentality and how this can manifest differently in men versus women, because I just think it's really interesting, okay? And I'm not saying this is conclusive, this is just my thoughts. Ultimately, the healthiest thing that you can do is to accept your financial situation as it is, have an awareness of what financial situation you would like, what actions need to be taken, are you willing to take those actions or not, and then live in congruence with like who you are and who you want to be. People who are not doing that and have an idea of the financial situation they want to be in, but not really taking steps to acquire it for themselves, often date to distract themselves from their own broke mentality or from their own lack of self-worth. And it doesn't make you a bad person, because we all have low vibrational moments, but do you live in a low vibration, or do you just temporarily dip in and out on your way up? So for a guy in a broke mentality, he is not accepting of his financial situation. So he's going to chase after a girl that seems out of his league or that he can't afford. He doesn't inherently believe he can afford, but he will present like he can afford her in order to have his ego stroked because he's being approved by his dream girl. When that falls apart, because it inevitably will, he will date down, settle for a girl who he thinks is either beneath him or is going to accept him in this broke state until he gets his money up, and he'll either dump her for the girl he can actually afford, or he'll just remain in this toxic cycle because he never actually does anything to get his money up. But he will take the L every time because the girl that he's settling for will find a guy who treats her better, actually values her as a person and not just as a placeholder. The woman that he wishes he could afford is just going to find someone that can afford her. For women who are chronically obsessed with dating for status and material wealth, the more time that they spend chasing rich men, the less time they have to become a rich woman. They are going to take the L every time because the hand that feeds you can starve you. And ultimately, I think most people, except for a very small percentage, they actually want love and connection, especially women. Like, you think you just want money and you would just be in a relationship for money, but if you didn't have any emotional support, it would be hell. And you've given up your financial freedom for a guy that's probably going to cheat on you and not really give a shit about you because he knows you're just there for his money.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
You know what? I understand what you're trying to say here. And I get it. It makes sense. For the reasons you've given here, I proactively try not to date when I'm broke. Because being broke makes me miserable, makes me unhappy. So why would I want to drag someone else into that situation? But saying that, if a woman is interested in me, knowing what's going on in my life and knowing what's happening, and she still wants to get to know me, I'm not going to push her away because that's just silly. But we also have to see it from the man's perspective as well. In my experience, the women I've dated while I was broke, they actually made me more miserable. That's because even though they know I was miserable about being broke, they constantly compare me to other men that are doing better than me. These women that I was dating constantly compared me to other men so much that it actually started to affect my mental health because I saw myself even more as a failure. So yeah, what you've raised here is 100% valid, but just remember there are still a lot of women out there that do not know how to handle a man when he's going through that broke phase.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
Do women not understand how much not having money plays a role in our anxiety about being in relationships? You can't make songs like No Scrubs and have phrases like pick a bill or I'd rather cry in a mansion than be happy in a shack, but not expect men to be affected some type of way by the topic of money. I mean, y'all complain a lot about how a man's love language revolves around physical touch when y'all really love gift giving and acts of service. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but gift giving and acts of service sometimes ends up taking a lot of money. I mean, you got complaints about not going out like you used to, not taking trips and not getting gifts like you used to. Like time and effort is currency. I can't pay for shit with good intentions. My wife told me straight up, and rightfully so, that one of the biggest deciding factors on who she would marry or have in her life is who's gonna keep me fed. Like, do you understand what it's like being out in the world, being a man with no money and he has a family or just in a relationship? Women don't have a social expectation of provision. And please don't come over here saying society did that to you because you're society too. And to be clear, I'm never going to try to justify lashing out at your lady because you broke. That's never going to be right. But really think about what you do to show him that you're not there for money. What do you do to express that his finances aren't necessary for you to love him? Even when you know he got it, do you just go ahead and say, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it? How often are you buying him things? Are you paying for date nights and trips? Don't wait till that man's down bad and then try to convince him that you're there for nothing more than him. Because if there's no existing evidence of that, he's gonna get a little nervous. But like I said, I'm not trying to justify him being mean to you. What I am saying is there are valid reasons for him expressing himself like that.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
Another creator had stitched this and talked about how men will often unalive women because of money. And at first I thought he's doing the most. Then I remembered something about reading cases about family unalivers. These are usually, by and large, men who unalive their wives and kids all at once. There's a word for it. It starts with family, ANN. I won't say the rest of it because I don't know if they'll take my video down. But the profile of these men, listen to this, right? It's kind of scary. It's most cases, it's a middle-aged man who's perceived as hardworking, loving husband, usually highly educated with an undergraduate or a postgraduate degree with a good job. He is usually the senior man in the household. And most of them will unalive wife, kids, pets, and then themselves. They broke them down into multiple categories, and one of the categories is the anomic killer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. This one considers his family an extension of his economic success. As soon as his economic status breaks down, his family no longer serves this function. Hence, he will unalive them all. His view of the family is black and white and therefore doesn't take into account the role the woman would play in the family or the economy. 90% of these unalivers come from good, respectable families with no criminal record, usually between the ages of 30 and 40 years old. This person is perceived by neighbors and friends as a dedicated father and a loyal husband with a successful job and life. The main trigger for the unaliving is usually a breakup or financial hardship. How many times have you seen this in the news? Chris Watts, Scott Peterson. There was another Peterson. There's like multiple Petersons. It's like, girl, if you're dating somebody named Peterson, you better be careful. That information is by Professor David Wilson, I believe his name is. Yeah, he's the one who did the research on the criminology. He's a criminologist. Basically, for these men, they perceive themselves 100% as being providers and successful people. And so if they feel like they can no longer provide or no longer be successful, even worse, people find out that they cannot provide and that they're not successful, they can't handle it. So for them, the best cause of action is to unalive everybody rather than deal with their economic problems. And some of them will even convince themselves that it's an act of mercy and altruism to do so.
Do men realize what they're like when they do not have money?
Yeah, I know exactly how I am to be around. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I ain't got no money. What is it to laugh about? Ain't nothing to smile about. Shit, eventually you're gonna want something. You know, I'm gonna wanna take you somewhere, but I can't. I ain't got no money. Shit, my goddamn sex drive at an all-time low. You know, because after we do it, you gonna want something to eat. I can't buy it because I ain't got no money. You get anxiety because, you know, your girl sitting over there on TikTok looking at all of these other women with guys that got money talking about, oh, girl, you should try this place, try that place. And if she bring it up to you, now you feel bad because you ain't got no money. Plus, we live in a society that makes it seem as if us men are useless if we don't have money, right? So I said all that to say this. Fellas, this is a learning lesson. Hear me clearly. Get your shit together. Put yourself in position to be a boss. Crying about it ain't gonna help your ass. Stop chasing women and go chase your bag, bro. For real.
Men who do not have money, they are the most miserable, unfulfilled, unsatisfied.
Let me tell you, if that man is not where he wants to be financially, it will be one of the most unpleasant, draining experiences ever. You would think holding them down will make it better. It only gets worse. They literally make being broke their personality. When I say always mad, projecting insecurities, and just unsatisfiable, I mean they will stop doing the bare minimum mentally, physically, emotionally, and dare you to say something. Because they gonna find a way to spin that shit like a ballerina and make their behavior your fault. They wasn't lying when they said your man is your biggest hater. They will literally push you away. I was getting more compliments from a homeless man than my man. Soon as they get money, they'll go get with somebody else because then they don't value the woman that was with them when they was broke. Don't pursue a relationship you cannot afford. I know misery needs company, but don't make us a party.
If you're still here, definitely enjoying this video, don't forget to like and share and subscribe and comment your thoughts about this particular topic down in the comment section. All opinion accepted if you put them down respectfully. Please, there's no hate to any creator. Please, oh, you are entitled to your opinion. Anyways, we are talking about men that are broke, probably were rich before them broke, or in their broke era, the way they behave very annoying. To me, I feel like they're very entitled. And again, they are always angry. They're just angry for no reason. They will just be angry for no reason, no matter how much no matter what you do as a woman. They they always want to be on their own when they are broke. And one of the guys that stitched the video was like, it depends on what you're doing to the man to determine the behavior he does to you. Are you taking him on a date? Are you doing yada yada yada? Are you doing yada yada yada? The problem is not taking the man on a date. Really appreciate it. When his money comes, will he remember me? Will I be his first priority? Will he give me money when he has the money? Because just like the last stage, when you do everything for them, when you are there for them, you cry with them, you even try to push hard, you do everything for them, at the end of the day, when this guy got money, he's gonna cheat on you. Like 90% of the time, these men will leave you. If they don't cheat on you, if they're not gonna leave you, they will cheat on you. If they don't cheat on you, they will leave you and go and meet somebody fresh that they will spend their life with. And when the money finish again, they will come back to you. You know, money comes and goes. So when the money goes again, they will come back to you because you are very understanding, and they will still expect you to be there for them. Like, it's just annoying. It's just annoying to me. I really don't even know what much to say, but that's all I have to say. Okay, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. Thank you so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and all of that good stuff, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.